So with the 4000 series being out and being like $1,600 minimum for the 4090, and I forget what it is for the 4080, I decided to do the right thing and not buy it. And this is what I bought. So browsing the interweb, and right before the 4000, or maybe it was right on the launch day of the 4000, I can't remember, I have to look at the receipt, saw this on the old interweb, the zotac gaming GeForce RTX 3090 Ti. It's the Amp Hollow Extreme Edition, and I got this one for, like, with tax and all that shipping stuff, $969. It was like one of those flash sales, but I didn't get it on Amazon's website. I actually got it on Zotac's website, and it was actually a pretty good deal. And after a few trading slash selling slash utilizing my assets, I decided, hey, I got this thing for free. So I was rocking the whole 3080 Ti, the EVGA model, and I saw that like right before the 4000 series, they were actually selling for like $800 to $850, which that seemed pretty high, but reasonable considering that these cards back in the day were really expensive. So pop mine's on sale on the old marketplace, and somebody bought it for $850. And considering that I paid $969 for it, I really only had to pay $120. Now some may argue that that was probably not a good investment, as considering number one, you got the new cards that are released, which I get that. And then number two, I mean, going from a 3080 to a 3090 is not that much of a boost. I think, what, maybe 10 to 15%? Don't quote me 100% on that. Might even be less than that. But, I mean, newer hardware for pretty much free, why not? And honestly, that's the way to do it. I mean, if you hold on to your hardware too long, you'll never be able to really recoup when you think about the use that you got out of it and how they depreciate. But considering the weird market that we're in, it's actually a kind of decent way to at least get a decent down payment for something newer. Now, yes, I probably could have taken the money and been halfway towards 4090, but I mean, really, $1,600 for a graphics card now is ridiculous, and that's the suggested MSRP. And as we start looking, manufacturers are actually starting to up the price. Plus, you got the whole scalper thing. So 3090 Ti it is, Zotac. I've actually never bought one of their cards before. I got one that was given to me by a viewer that gave me a 1070, and then I bought one on eBay for $80, and the cards have been fantastic. So this is my first high-end Zotac, and we'll see how she does. Get amplified. Pretty nice. Extended warranty. Very nice. Cool. So opening this up, I will say, probably because it's a higher end model, definitely unboxing is pretty nice. Comes with the, I think this is the whole anti-sag bracket. Very nice. More brackets. Hope this thing has destructions on it. And it's got the adapter so you can run your connectors for it. Lovely. And what is this? Connector for RGB. Fantastic. Now let's pop it out. And this thing is heavy. And I gotta say, this is a very heavy, girthy card. Big fans, very nice looking. You also got the whole caution, high power consumption. Very nice. I think you need at least an 850 power supply for these, which I do have one in my personal build. But I will say, for never owning a Zotac card, this thing is pretty nice. I do kind of like it. Now the 3090 Ti was probably one of the best cards out there, considering as far as the performance for so long. But the issue with these cards was that just the price to performance was way not worth it, as they had the 3090, then you had the 3090 Ti, which is slightly faster, whatever. But like I said, for the price I got for it, couldn't turn it down. And an upgrade's an upgrade, no matter how little you gain. But if you're able to gain with little cost, definitely worth it. Now I will say, I do like the color scheme. I've never bought a Zotac, but this is pretty nice. Got the black, and you have the whole grayish gunmetal, I guess, type looking over here. And you know what? I'll save the peel action for when I put it in. Has this whole, I think it's an anti-sag bracket. It has the RGB, which I will not be using, so I'll have to kind of hide it and tuck it somewhere. Now, before I get started, I have to deal with this rat nest of cables. So the first thing I'm going to have to do is, number one, take everything out. I actually have my GTX 1070 in here, which I've been using, waiting for that card to come in. Actually took a week to come in. Kind of sucked. I have my cables for the PCIe supplemental power, which is right over here. And guys, if you get a power supply, keep your cables somewhere. Don't be mixing cables. Bad things can happen. Pops, booms, smoke. Not a good thing. So let's get this rat nest out of here. Pull out my cables. And I did have cable sleeves, which I don't have a third one like this, so we're gonna have to go back to the whole original Corsair look. Now, if you notice the cables, you can piggyback it. I don't recommend it, and I've heard a lot of different reasons on why not to do it. My power supply has provisions for 3 PCIEs. That's what I'm going to utilize, especially how much power these things tend to draw. So we'll just use 1, 2, wire tied the whole piggyback thing that they got going on over here, and just run some nice pure power. Alright, so because how heavy this thing is, we're going to flip the case this way and pop in the graphics card that way. I am going to install that sag, anti-sag / the whole zotac glamour bracket. So I'm going to take these 2 out. I'm pretty sure it's the one below it, but just in case, I'm going to have it out. Cables have been run, all 3 of them. And we'll kind of figure that out later, the whole routing for it. I want to make sure you take this off first. Might not fit with it. Wow. I mean, this thing just almost hits these fans right over here. Pretty massive. And the 4090 series and those are supposed to be just as big, if not bigger. Definitely something to consider. I mean, this is a 4000D and barely have a pinky right in there. It fits, that's all that matters, but wow. Graphics cards are huge nowadays. So what from I gather, this bracket's supposed to go right over here. Keep these pieces in right over there. And kind of use 4 hands to line everything up and hold things in place, which we know how amazing that is. There's these little rubber pieces that go right over here. And I probably should have put these on way before I did all this, but you know, that's fine. I mean, it is resting on the brackets, so I guess it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Our special connector. Wow, it's a lot of computer in this case. And I think as we progress towards newer and better hardware, you're gonna need a bigger case. I mean, my 4000D fit everything perfectly, but I mean, with this cooler, these cables, and this, and yeah, might have to upgrade to something bigger in the future. So let's go ahead, let's put this thing back together, fire it up. But at first, the peel. Oh, interrupted. There we go. All right, let's see if it runs. Gotta say, it's a nice looking card. I even like the colors the way they are. Yeah, it doesn't match my white RAM, but we could definitely fix that later. And what is nice is the card looks, makes me kind of want to plug this in. You know, we all know RGB gives you more frames per second, and that would definitely give us a boost. So I'm actually gonna be running this at 1080p because this monitor is only 1080p support, and I know there are other ways to do it, but we're just gonna focus on 1080p right now and just run a benchmark with ray tracing on ultra, all settings high, maxed out, yada yada yada. And this is Cyberpunk, so let's see what it does. Alright, so average frames per second 60, the max was 64, minimum 56, so this thing runs fantastic. Definitely happy with it. So let's try one more game. Tomb Raider, gotta love the classics. 1080p, ultra settings, running the benchmark. Let's see what we get. Alright, minimum 72, average 75, and I think that has a lot to do with the monitor. I think I have VSync enabled, but I'm not really trying to showcase the card and what it can do. We all know what a 3090 Ti can do, so let's give you some thoughts. And to help wrap it up, I'm going to be running the whole Heaven benchmark, just the whole 1080p extreme settings. Been running this for a while. Temperature is 67 degrees. The fans are very quiet, barely audible, and there's like no coil whine. There's a slight one every now and then, but it's little to none. So we all know that the 3090 Ti is a beast of a card. Still great, still going to be around for a while, and you'll probably be able to get them a lot cheaper on eBay. But the point of this video is to pretty much state that right now, the 4000 series, because of the price, is not worth it. Now, some may argue that when the 4080 comes out with the MSRP of $1,200, it might be worth it, but I mean, we all know how the price is going to be with inflations. $1,200 is the suggested price, and if you look from what I've been reading and seeing, apparently manufacturers are increasing the prices of the 4090, with some of them upwards going up to $100 to $200 higher than what they are. So to kind of say that to go out and run and spend all that high money in these new graphics cards is, to me, it's not worth it at this time. And maybe if the prices do come down or they come up with something better, that might be something to think about. Now, with RDNA 3 and AMD's new graphics cards around the corner, we can hope for some better competition, some better price to performance. But these new graphics cards, I can tell you personally, I'm going to be waiting. I got this because of the deal and the fact that I was able to kind of flip my old one and make this definitely worthwhile as far as the price. But these new graphics cards, if you think about it, look how big they are, the prices, the increase in the power supplies. I mean, there's a lot to consider. And even with the new releases of the new hardware with Intel and AMD, I mean, if we're going to start getting this new hardware, we're going to have to revamp our system. So it's going to get kind of expensive. So, I mean, as far as going out and buying a graphics card, definitely consider the used market, as there's more bang for the buck on that. And these new graphics cards, prices are outrageous, and we all know how Nvidia loves screwing the consumers. So hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Definitely comment down below, let me know your thoughts. Is this a card that you might be doing? And for any of you guys that had questions about my whole benchmarking, I wasn't really trying to benchmark this thing, just put it in, install it, installation, showcase the card a little bit. So thanks again, and we'll see what we come up with next.